Here with hi guys. As you can tell, I'm still trying to figure out what's what over here. Unless my husband is in here, I have to try to do it. I'm not that good. I don't have a production team. I do not have makeup artists. I do not make any money doing this, although I am not averse to making money doing this. So let's see what we can find out today to talk about. Since I don't usually download videos or anything, I just get up here and opine about what's going on and what everybody might like to talk about. And if you do see me, jump on in, send the comments in. Hey, that's what it's about. For me, it's social Woodstock without the mud. You can talk to anybody and everybody and have a great laugh. I love being at my bar. We retired, and my husband bought a bar. Thought it was a little bar. It's a big bar. So we had to rearrange the entire downstairs and get rid of a bunch of stuff to get the bar in. And I love it. You don't have to call Uber or whoever's picking you up. So this is great. So I thought, okay, I'm going to broadcast from the bar. That's going to be cool. And everybody seems like they're broadcasting at the bar. I had to take 10 months off due to a severe accident, and in which I could not get up and down. I mean, really, it was a thing just to move me. So, yeah, I'm like, okay, I'm back. I'm doing all this. My channel was working, then it stopped working. I said, I'm on a new channel. I can't find anybody. So, if you see me, please subscribe, ring the bell. I don't know, like, dislike, say go home. I don't give a shit. Just do something for me. I've got family. They're not subscribed. I've got one child, one son. I've got two grandchildren and a husband, and none of them are subscribed to. Did you not watch the channel? Am I insulted by this? A little bit, a little bit. But we'll go on with that anyway. We'll see. Christmas is coming up. Maybe I can ask my kid that. I'd say, kid, I have my grandson is also like me. He's an Army veteran, so thank you for all those compliments. No, I am not 25. Yes, I have been dragging 30 behind me for so long. It's almost like making the Grand Canyon. It's be kind now. Come on, it's almost Friday. I did. Usually, I'll put down some bullet points and write down a couple of things I want to say. Yesterday was a clusterfuck. I couldn't figure out my own name. Today it may be the same. But you're with the Wicked Lady Hippy at the bar, and we are, of course, live. I do all of my podcasts live. I think it's a lot better that way. You really get to see how stupid I am. So it is for entertainment purposes only. I don't smoke. I vape because they made me stop smoking. But my husband and I decided I could have my little cigars, my little cigarillos. They go out while I'm talking. So you'll see me relight this puppy like 400 times. And then it'll last 2 or 3 days. I do not buy them. My husband gets them for me. And so that way if I started buying them myself, I would actually be back to smoking. Oh, good God, at the price on them. I love when they tell you that we're doing great and the price of food's coming down. The price of fucking food went up. Eggs are still at the same rate they were that I bought 2 years ago when they went stupid. So I don't know where they're getting these changes from, but I sure wish they'd show up the fuck up here. I hear we're supposed to get a $2,000 bonus check. Whee! I heard one bitch say, yeah, I did mention Army veteran, no kids, because I tend to see the Army side little better once I've had a bit of my stiffener. My cats always, at least one of them, will photobomb me and Pixie's right here at the edge, pretending I don't know she's there. There she goes. And so we have a bit of a rescue situation here that people throw kittens away and animals who are hurt away, and somehow they find their way to us. So we have a bit of a sanctuary here. We have tents in the backyard that have heat. Of course, now they're being used for my plants because the hurricane took out my hothouse. It was the only thing, thank God. We had 100 trees go down. It was amazing, and yet it missed everything. Everything. We had 3 glass tables, both front and back, and it didn't hurt them. It didn't get any of that stuff. It did take one of the bench chairs, which was pure iron, and throw it off of our porch onto the boat. But it was, it came out really good because the coffee table was glass and it didn't move it. It was so wild. It was as if it was just picking and choosing. And that was the tornado spun from there. You could see the damages are still being cleared up here in Augusta, and I understand North Carolina took it hard as well. So I hope they're doing better. And this is what happens when you don't put bullet points down. You talk about yourself and everything else. Um, for those of you who know me or have seen the podcast before, per se, you know I have what I call a stiffener. And my husband buys me like the little airplane bottles of what they call a whiskey fireball. And I love these little bottles because it's about the size of a regular shot glass. And this is one of my German ones. Yeah, can you believe I got something back after I went to Europe? You won't believe how hard it was to get stuff to make it back to the States with. So he gets me these, and they have that big burst of cinnamon at the end. And then once I get off camera, I can go back to being the housewife who's suddenly enlisted to making dinner as well as breakfast. I'm retired. No. Since I retired, I have more to do that takes longer than I did when I wasn't. I do not know how my housework was done before because it takes me days to get like two rooms. By the time I come back around, they're a mess again. It's cats. I blame the cats. They fucking go everywhere. So the stiffener I was telling you about is because when I was growing up, I was adopted at 9 by parents who were World War II's. Well, they were born in 1914, so they went through everything. World War One, the Depression, World War II. And they had a thing the women would faint. I always had the hand up. I think they got that from the black and white movie stills. But in any event, they would faint in the chairs. They would faint in the couch. They never hit that fucking floor ever. And the men, whoever was there, they would go get the hooch. Well, now my daddy and his brothers ran moonshine, so you can tell it was a real hoot. So you go get the hooch and whatever it was, brandy, whiskey, like anything, vodka. It could have been anything up there, but there was at least one. So you get it, grab the glass, and bring it in, and they'd sip at it. They go, "Are you better now? You okay? Oh, I think I should just, yeah, I gotta go make dinner. Get her another one." It wouldn't go for three. I have never been able to faint in my life. This is how I usually open the show, and so I have the same stiffness that they did, pretty much, and I have that lovely cinnamon at the end of mine, and I also usually have a mimosa on the side, or maybe some of my cherry wine soda pop. Yeah, I always call it when we were growing up, it was soda pop. When I got in the military, so to go in places, it was either a soda or if you said pop, they just looked at you. What? So this, I say, since I can't faint, my husband gives me a little leeway up here. So I get my little bitty shot glasses and I get to have stiffener so that I can't get up here and talk to y'all without nobody being around. It's rather odd to be here. It really is. Sometimes I myself am wondering, what are you doing up there? I'm doing it because to me it's George Jetson. And anybody in my age group, you'll get that. You'll understand that phrase. The rest of this, then Gen Z and all that. I raised my grandson, and he ROTC'd. He went Army. He went to Korea. He came back at the just barely got in from Korea before they slammed shut everything for the pandemic. And so he was out of the army. I would be too if I were doing that. So he stayed with me. And then suddenly, a couple of years later, we're here now. And I didn't understand a damn thing the boy was saying or which side he was landing on. He was way over here to the left. And I was like, what the hell happened to this kid? He was yelling at me in my own house when he knows I have weapons. And I carry one all the time, just about, or it's within my reach. And he was yelling at his grandmama. I was like, oh, no, you did not. And then, of course, my husband was the peacemaker. And he was like, you're both yelling at each other. And so I actually had to go and not speak to him on any topic except whatever he brings up. And it's almost like he's dumb as a box of rocks now. And I'm not trying to be insulting. I'm really not trying to figure it out. So in other words, I can't even talk to my grandson hardly anymore because I don't know who the fuck he is. before he left for Korea, we he spent most of his time with us instead of his dad. That mom were separated, and then he had several stepsisters or half sisters on his mom and his dad's side. He has a half sister. He's a great kid and all that, but suddenly he was this guy that was bald, shaved his head, and started getting tattoos and all that. And I just didn't. So I'm still like stunned that I don't know what's going on in the world anymore. I saw all of these children that were going through. Uh, there were, you know, from the river to the sea crap, and I wanted to just go out and slap the stupid off of them. You can't go across this, and you know they frown on that. And then I saw faculty. I was like, "Where are the parents? Where's faculty? They're out there with all the." So I don't know my country anymore. I'm like, you know what the, and I have seen the pictures of Gaza before and after. There we go. The bar sits across the doorway to the kitchen, so I can. They'll come back that way too. So yeah, the Israeli things bug me. I don't know what's happened to folks. We've always been Israel's friend. Well, mm, we've always been their friend, and I don't know. Mm, it really went down the wrong way. I mean, it's good. It's just not that good. Would you? And then you just try and try. They don't listen worth the fuck. I tell you, they just don't. What are you doing? You done not that down. And now she's going to clean her fur. I'm going to pretend she's not here for a while. Sorry about all that. It's always entertainment here. Something is fucking going on every second, it seems like. So I'm wondering if there are other people that are like me that have found that this, I think they call generous Gen Z. If you run into the same thing, that you could talk to your grandson or whatever, your child, about anything and everything, and they could talk. Mm, it's like stuck. And suddenly, when you talk to them, they don't just disagree with you. They disagree with you very loudly and very rudely, and I don't take them. My grandson knows better, so he doesn't go that far. That one day he did. He didn't do it again. One time there's only one time that, and my son too. My son made me mad one time. He said, "I'm not going to school, and you can't make me." And I was on the phone, and I'm late for work because I'm trying to get him to school. He was 16, and I just hit him with the phone. Didn't even think about it, and so I hung the phone up, and I bent down and picked him up in a wounded man's grip, and carried him out of my car. Threw him in the back seat. Meanwhile, I didn't even notice the bus was watching all this. Everybody. So he wakes up because I'm in the parking lot. And I said, "Get out of the car and go to school. Don't make me do this again." And that boy was. I did finally let him do GED instead of that because he and his half or stepsister, my husband has a daughter, a year apart from my kids, so they were in school together, and they both just hated school. And luckily, my stepdaughter did finish, and she got her diploma, and she's also finished her college. She's a nurse, and my son as well has risen to the top of his um, thing. I can't really talk about that because there's too many secrets. They work for the base and at the base and all that stuff. So I can't really talk. That's another reason I guess that they won't subscribe. They may not be able to. I used to carry rather high clearance, and we didn't have all this stuff going on. So your phone was not on your hip or whatever. It was mounted on a wall. Uh, in my case, when you first went in, well, you just didn't have a phone. You used a big phone, and they would set up what they called a watch line. and you could get in line, and they would let you speak for 3 to 5 minutes to whoever you wanted to call, your parents, what have you. And it was free. They called it a Watts line. I don't know why. But I stood in that line many times in order to talk to the family because, as I said, the parents were older, and I worried about them. They were already in their 60s by the time I left. I only spent 8 years there because I was 9 when I got there, and I left at 17 for the Army. So, and we were the first company of women to train with the men as regular Army. When I got on the plane, I was a WAC. And when I got off the plane, I was a soldier. It was like, the fuck is this? They asked us if we wanted to stay or go because it's such a change. And we all wanted to stay. And I had rank, and that was stupid. I'd have turned that down had I known. Private Benjamin, the movie with Goldie Hawn, placed me. It's close to what it was. And they were Vietnam Airborne Rangers. Our drills were, our COs were, our commanding officers. All of them were Vietnam at some time. And they didn't know what to do with the women. And they did really well, I think, at treating us exactly the same way. If the men did 20 push-ups, we did 20 push-ups. If they marched 15 miles, we marched 15 miles. And that's the way it was. I mean, I had no idea it changed. I just was tickled because they were female fighter pilots. The first woman, it was I think last year, was with the Golden Knights. Oh, no, it was the Blue Angels she was with. First girl, first woman. So I was really proud to see all that, women firefighters and so forth. Then that was like that when I went in. We were, like I said, we were the first. And they didn't break us. I told my girls, since I had to take shit anyway, because I had rank, had a lot of rank, considering I was a private first class, which is actually 3 ranks. You go in with nothing. So your first rank, you're a private pilot. They call you a trainee if you don't have rank. With me, it was wicked. They called me wicked because I was from Cook County, Chicago, Illinois, and I didn't have a record. So they figured I was really good at it. Called me wicked. The name has stuck, as you notice. It's in the title of the. It just has stuck. Everybody knows me that way. And so there you are, a little bit about me. And I know if any of my friends, and I'm going to try to reach most of you to get in here and know that I'm back on my feet and I'm back podcasting. It was a terrible accident, and I carry a lot of metal now in my extremities. So I set off bells and whistles. People are in the telegraph office, hit the airport. But that's the only problem I seem to have. Oh, well, there was the courthouse problem. I digress. So I wondered again what I was going to talk to everybody about. And it just seems to get up here and I just talk to y'all. Mm-hmm. And this is what happens to me. And it annoys me when I do this. If you quit smoking and you're allowed to once a day, smoke a little bit. Turns out to be a good day. I always have I know somebody asked me about that. I always have headbands on because if I don't, the earphones fall down or off. I don't know why. It can be even a thin band, but I have to have one. So again, excuse me for my appearances. I've been working on housework. It's never ending. And for the first time, I usually don't wear jeans. I wear slacks. I don't have a lot of jeans. I have a couple pair, I think. But you stay off your feet for 10 minutes, you tend to gain weight. So you have a new wardrobe. I have a new wardrobe now because I just. Oh, there's the cinnamon. Oh, yes. And I tend to do that rather quickly because the ice melts and I like my whiskey on the rocks. Just so everybody knows. It's a bar. What the fuck do you think I'm going to do? Yes. You can drink and you can smoke and you can smoke, if you know what I mean. I'm still wary of giving too many labels while I'm on the air. I did get one little nip because you could hear the music behind me. I can't remember what song it was, but they were like, You can't do that. And I was like, just, I agree. I can't do that. So I changed it, edited I reposted it, and they allowed it down. So I was like, okay. I used to always have the music in the background. Never was a problem. And now on the new channel, I'm immediately flagged, the music. So it's just me. I have a big mirror across. It's a bar. So they have the big mirror. And I have a big TV. My husband mounted. You can see like the corner of it, I think. In any event, he mounted it in the corner for me. It's a 72-inch, I think, and so that's great. It's not. We used to have like 80-inch, and it took up a whole wall. Now it takes up most of the wall, but it's up out of the way. So I usually do my editing there, which drives all of them to crazy. They don't like to see me on TV. I guess I don't know what it is, but I generally don't do anything to it. The show. I get up here and it's just like it says in the description. It's about anything and everything. You can laugh, you can joke, you can do all of that. I want to talk about ghosts, anything paranormal. I love the storm chase, paranormal. I love to find out what the absolute flipping fuck all the government doing. There was a shutdown and they blamed it on the Democrats in the Senate. Okay. Oh, Chuck Schumer. Well, I kept saying, why the fuck does this one guy tell the other 147 senators how to vote? What the fuck all is that? Beyond the pale, but okay. Then they say, okay, well, we're going to sign it, damn it. 3 days later, they're still trying to get the members of the House back in so they can vote. And I'm like, so you just did not hold any office? You just left in the middle of a government shutdown? I worked in D.C. and I was very highly placed, I'll have you know. No, I'm not going to tell you anything other than that. Can't do that. But this is why I call that cat Pixie. We almost lost her eye. My adaptive charging is out. I want it fully charged. I had the worst time, I'll tell you what, at being one of the first women. We had it rough, but it was great. You knew you could do anything once you got out of boot camp. I mean, you could pick up a person. I mean, the pull-ups or something. I mean, the first 3 days, my eyebrows hurt. That's what you're released, to go to your billet, and you're not really, because you got to clean all your stuff. Back then, camo was pressed and ironed and starched, and your brass had to be clean, your shoes had to be shined, yada yada. So half the time that you were free, this is what you did. Then you had Sunday for church. And you didn't have time to go to church because you had all this stuff to do. And a couple of them made it, but I digress again. The Israel thing has been bugging me. I also said I would not ever do a podcast. Sorry, my leg is a mess down here. Without mentioning Charlie Kirk's assassination and who he was, and a great young man he was. To me, he was still a boy. He's about my grandson's age, for God's sake. And to see what I saw, I was just so angry, just angry. And I didn't know him as anything other than the guy who was on the campus universities and colleges saying, proved me wrong. And he would end up convincing them, and they would be on his side after that. And I loved it. I thought it was so great. He was so good. He wasn't looking on his phone for an answer. He didn't have a list of, he was just who he was. And I knew he was also a very devoted Christian, and I loved how he did things. And I did not know he had a podcast. This is during my this last 10 months, and then the last 2 months I'm trying to get still going to physical therapy. So there's a lot I didn't even see. I did a lot of sleeping because it was the best thing for me. In any event, I lost touch with a lot of it, and I just started recently, since I've come back on, and checking things out. And the day Charlie died, I had come home from groceries. My husband had come in, and I heard that he'd been hit. And I was helping Stella do the groceries, thinking, okay, he's going to be all right. He's going to be okay. And then it didn't take but a few minutes. And then President Trump came on and said, lower the flags. And I didn't even hear the rest. I just hit my knees. My husband was like, what's going on? I said, oh, this is so shades of JFK. Why I would say that, I don't know. In particular, because I didn't know he made millions. I didn't know that he had turned down the Israeli offers of money and stuff because he didn't want to do what they wanted him to. I didn't know any of this, but somehow I knew that this was going to be one of those assassinations that we weren't going to be told either everything or the truth on. A big one. I try not to spend too much time on that because Candace Owens, Dave Smith, a few others, and there's a lot who are investigating the supposedly World War One 30-06 um, was the weapon of choice, and he made the shot. It was a kill shot. One shot only is all he needed, and left his ammo that was marked there. Damn, that's damn. He had no training, never been in the military. I mean, I could have made that shot myself, and I'm not saying that. And without a scope, it was only 140 yards. But they teach you that, which I enjoyed. I had never used a weapon until I got in. Now you won't find me without one. But this guy's never had any of that training. He's got a very old weapon, and World War II dad and all that. I know about some weapons. My husband is a sniper, or was. So we know weapons. We have a big safe for our weapons because we have what they call a lot of long guns, and we've got a 9, and I keep a revolver. It's just, don't come to my house and try to get stupid. We enjoy shooting you and bringing you in, so they do frown on that now, though. But at the same time, you're like, okay, this week I went to Walmart, and I've been going to that Walmart. This is the longest I've lived in any place ever in my life. And I've been here now 14 years. It's the longest place I've ever stayed. My son is only one exit away. My granddaughter's one exit away. My grandson's one exit away. My stepdaughter is 3 hours away of Macon. Well, she's more Warner Robins, just below me. In any event, so I tend to watch these things because my kids are, they're in the workforce, and with the one being a nurse and the other being in, I guess you would call it cybernet. I'm sure that's not what they use, but you get where I'm going. And I worry about those things. And so I'm watching what's going on, and I'm like, what the? What's going on with the Israeli thing? I do not understand. Um, Somehow we're not supposed to be on their side. Then I hear that we were going to go to war with Iran, with Israel, attack Iran. I'm like, huh? We don't want to be in these wars. We don't want to be in the Middle East. Let them figure it the fuck out. I'm of the opinion at this point that you should tell people to fuck it, shoot them all, let God sort it out. Good God. This stuff's been going on for millennia. And we don't need our men and women dying over there for a cause that is not ours. Israel was attacked. They're more than capable of defending themselves against one thing. And yet 2 years has gone on. They've killed 1,500 people. They did get, I think, 100 and some of the hostages back alive. They had 250 of them. Even the American ones. They had American. They attacked these kids at a party in the desert. What I asked was, where the fuck all was the IDF? Why would you fucking let kids go out in the desert where there's only a chain link fence? And they showed this. Their own GoPro showed this, the attackers did. And they just had to cut the fence links and come right over to kill them. And I mean, you saw mile after mile of cars where they just shot them up, blew them up, burned them up. Oh my God. And they knew this. There were Muslims, and I guess there still are, that work in Israel. And they come through a certain gate, show an ID, and they go to work in Israel. Because there was no work really in Gaza that they were to do, I suppose. So they knew the habits. They knew the holidays. They knew when this was going to go on. They knew this dance was going to be over 1,000 kids. I can't even describe what they did to these people. And they got into the suburbs. I call it the suburbs. They call it kibbutzes. It's a suburb. And, oh my God, beheading babies, raping women, and killing them. We all know this. So why did I see on the next day, when it was still going on. And I kept wondering, the IDF didn't drop the ball. They didn't fucking know they had a ball. What the fuck? Did you let these kids go out in the desert without any security next to a chain link fence that I could have just jumped over to have a fucking party? You sacrificed these kids when they were all calling and saying, we've got a shooter. They're killing people. They've broke in. Nothing. Why did it take the IDF forces so long to get there? These people had a wonderful time. It wasn't just Hamas that came through that gate after they cut it. The Gazan people came through so that they could loot and pillage. And this was filmed, and I can't even describe what I've seen and what I've heard. And yet, the very next day, they were out front in New York and in London and other places from the river to the sea. What the fuck? You don't have a problem with it? And then I hear people now, okay, and I agree. I said I would have done it this way. They show Gaza as it was 2 years ago, and they show Gaza now. There's a couple of bricks standing. I wouldn't have left that standing. I mean, the people did have to move here, they had to move back, they had to move, but they gave them a chance to live. They didn't have to. I wouldn't have fought the war from the ground, even for the hostages much. I would have fought it from the air, and it would have been over real quick. But these fucking tunnels were a mess that we paid for. And we paid for them because all of Congress had a problem when they shut down USAID because that was one of their honeypots. You're not going to get me to say that these people, and again, Chuck Schumer said, no, you can't vote that. Why the fuck all do they have millions of dollars? How the fuck all did they get elected for 40 and 50 years? Because they bought the fucking seat. This is not an election. They bought the fucking seats. You will never get me to agree that people decided these people were so stupid for 30 years. We're going to vote for them again a couple of times. No, I don't believe that. You'll never get me to believe that. And now I've heard from the president himself that some state is going with mail-in balloting only for president. Fuck. Why don't you just say, go ahead and fraud the election, because here we go, we made you a system. That's what that does. The other thing I don't understand is when you are having an election, it used to be a private ballot. You go in, you shut the curtain, you voted for whoever the fuck, and that was it. Most of it. And I watched the thing from 1881 regarding President Garfield's assassination, and I was stunned by the fact that the Congress still acted like the Congress today. The only difference was they had little hot stovetop hats. That was it. That was the only difference. But they didn't have this. They didn't have this technology, and it was still the same thing. So finally, apparently, Chuck Schumer tells the other senators they can vote to open the government, because Senator Kennedy from Louisiana, not with the regular Kennedy's, great guy, I love this guy, and he's so funny. He had put a bill in that said if the federal government does not get paid, then neither does Congress. Not one person passed that, Republican or Democrat. They all voted no. And the very next day, they were in there voting to say yes to reopen the government. You gotta love it. If you've never seen him before, look him up. He's a great guy. I think he may have a podcast now. I'm not sure. Everybody's got a fucking podcast. Hit the like, hit something, because I want to stay in this medium. I think it's the coolest thing ever to be able to get up and talk to everybody about anything at any time, any place. It's fucking awesome. It's just great. No, I'm not Joe Rogan. Hey, Joe, I like you. Been watching you since news radio, buddy. So, look that up. It'll tell you our age. Sorry, I didn't mean to out you there. Joe, I'm sorry. You were good. I think you still are. I love Douglas Murray. He's another one. Hey, Doug. Icon professor Victor Davis Hanson has his podcast, Blade of Perseus, and then he's got one that's in his own words. That's the name of it. If you have any questions about it, let me know, and I'll pop in the information you need down in the comments. So yeah, I love all that stuff. Slapped hand from my paranormal. So I like that stuff. Um, I like the Wi-Fi's. AJ Hecklefish. Hi guys. I like them. There's several that I like, I'm with that are not. They don't drink. If they do, they don't do it on air. Bill Maher. He's got a bar. I forget what it's called, but he's got a bar. And the others like Shay Shay. Hey guys. They have whatever. Might as well be a bar. I think they have some small ones, but and I love it. I really love it. I like when Joe Rogan go off and he's on this or that broadcast. But and I've heard them saying the same things that I'm saying. What the fuck is going on? What is going on? Why is Generation Z suddenly saying we are what is it? I can't think of the word now, but we're killing people for no reason. It was not what it's not. The reason I mentioned what had happened is because they were attacked. And they still didn't go right. It took days for them to straighten out what happened that the early morning of the 7th. But when they did go to war, they told them they were going to war. They told them where they'd be. They told them what corridor they could use to get to safety. And they didn't hardly know about the tunnels, I don't think, then. Um, I'm glad that we didn't join them except to bomb Iran's nuclear capacity. He should never be able to have that. Never. Just no. Just not even a conversation. It's just, yes, they should take out their air capabilities and their capabilities to launch missiles. I think all of that should be taken out in Iran. I don't want people hurt or killed. Stay out of the fucking way. Let them do it and go on with your day. Because you're people that, I don't know why, but you want everybody else dead. And we don't kind of cotton to that. We frown on that a little bit here in the West. Whereas Donnie says, I call President Trump. I'm sorry, I like you, I really do. I call him Donnie. Oh, damn. It did it again. And I didn't even take a drink. Boy, and then when they get stuck down here, you're gonna cough. It's an automatic reflex. That's twice today. Sorry again. It's for entertainment purposes only. What can I say? Come visit me. Give me a reason here. Live chats. Always got live chat. Let me show you. So here we go. Live chat, live chat, live chat, live chat, live chat. I mean, seriously, come and see me. Drop by the bar. If you're gonna guess to call me, just leave it in the comments. I'll definitely, yes, I will get a hold of you. I haven't any guests because, well, I'm not, like I said, Joe Rogan's is a crowd. I watched him and I like him, but I'm not in the same crowd. Not too many are. I like Megan Kelly. She's got one. There's several I like. Sorry. It is winter here and my lips get dry. And I hate that. And so I use one of these little lipsticks that are part lip salve or whatever they want to call that. I don't know. I just use it. Let's see. So anyway, I'm trying to get off of Israel and Charlie Kirk and Candace Owens, honey, please be safe. I know, and I think you're an amazing young lady. I've watched you for years, and I think you should woosah, but I know you're not gonna. You're a very brave young lady, and it's amazing what you've uncovered already. I don't understand why they've paved over where he was massacred. I don't understand anything that's been going on lately at all. These guys want to be Israelis on Harvard. Well, we give them 2.5 billion a year. We're not going to do that if we give back. What did you just say? We give Harvard 2.5 billion tax dollars a year. It just who signed off on that shit? I'm gonna slap the bitch off. Yeah, they frown on that. Can't really go to DC and start yanking people out of offices, however much you'd like to. And I'm not advocating that, of course. I'm teasing. But then again, you never know. People can take people seriously when they're not. It's just a joke. Get over it. They'll be fine. Again, I try not to do this too much, but I have to leave shortly. I try to keep my broadcast to an hour, considering I have no guests. That should not be a hard thing for me to do. um, People are talking about all of this, talking about Charlie, talking about Israel, talking about Donnie tearing out the East Wing with a ball chain. Sorry, but I laughed so hard when I saw this. I remember when I worked in DC. It was some time ago, but for me, it was called the White House, and I kept saying, "Why? It's gray. Somebody needs to paint it." I mean, and I always used to say, "What is going on with the groundkeepers out here anyway?" The Rose Garden. Well, I asked, you've seen it lately? Yeah, and then they would scrunch everybody in there for a press conference. But I think it needed a ballroom. He also expanded out so they would have more comfort. The press would, and that's nice. I thought that was nice. They put chairs and stuff out there. It looks really great. He's done a lot of renovations. He's done a lot of work and cleaning it up and planning it out. And that's what he is. He's a builder. So it's perfect. This is a great guy. He's great in business. They've tried to kill him twice. They tried lawfare for 10 years. They tried to impeach him twice. This guy's going to have such a legacy to leave behind. Old Donnie is. I mean, he hit the floor running. And there are people who complain and say they don't even want to be on the press packet to get on the Air Force One because they can't rest because Donnie don't rest. I like Cat Williams when he was like, "Our president don't give a fuck." He's in the bathroom doing this, blowing shit up. Have you seen the boats? I love that. Still, they keep coming along. I'm sorry. I know I shouldn't be laughing about it, but it's fucking funny as hell. I mean, since when do you take a knife to a gunfight? It's the same thing. It's just a little funnier blowing up the boat. Poof. They fire like one time and it's poof. Don't they have TV over there? I know it's only like the YouTube. Somebody can find it. Don't drive a boat full of shit from Venezuela to Florida because they're not going to ask you just to stop because they know you don't. So they're just going to go. Poof. I actually saw where I think 3 had survived it. That was amazing because if you've seen the videos, and I'm sure you have, it's pretty much gone. Just gets my funny bone. I don't know why. Oh. All right, it went down the way it was supposed to this time. What else was it? I was looking at this. I don't need to talk about that. Oh, yeah. There's a House now. It's supposed to pass the bill. All this bullshit with this Chuck Schumer thing. They passed it. So the Democrats came across and said, "We've got to do this." Now, I don't know why they couldn't do it without saying so or could do it with saying so. I don't understand none of that. But they did. Like I said, the House is waiting for people to come back so they can sign it. And then somebody's going to run it literally to the president. The actual document has to go to the president to be signed. So they were saying last night that they would have the government up and funded by the time Gutfeld came on. And I'm not sure if it's still, if it's on yet or not. I don't know. We worried a little bit. We're both retired. Thank you. I don't look like I could be doing. It's so sweet of you. And so we were a little bit worried, but we're old. We know this shit happens, and you're gonna get your back pay no matter what. Just gonna struggle a little harder for a couple days, and people will work with you when this kind of shit's going on. They still want the to pay your electric bill later. If nothing else, you still get your money. So when you get money, pay this. But we were fine. We were both paid. His is in the beginning of the month. Mine's at the end of the month. And so that works out really good for us because we're always broke by the time. Well, then mine's gone and we're broke by the first. So it really works out. Big circle. Yeah. So, but our kids, well, they wanted bigger homes, I guess, than they were raised in. And we had huge houses and we downsized. We actually took over my son's uh, starter home because they had my granddaughter and she was a big surprise. So they wanted more room. I don't know, think that they needed it. It's a 3 bedroom, 2 bath, but it is small. It's only like, I think, 2,500 square feet or something. It's not very big. So that we came, it's right. It surprises me that I've been here this long. And I've always lived by a base or next to the base. And we're at the first gate for the base. It just happens that way. I don't know why, but it does. I always working on base. And both my husband and I usually work for either the state government or the U.S. government. All our working lives. We're retired. We got our checks, and we're asking our kids, not my daughter, our stepdaughter, my son in particular, both of them work in very high places. And I'm like, did you get your checks? No. Are you okay? Nope. They have a very big house, but I'm sure it's a very big house payment. They have, my son had just traded, he had a truck for like 10 years. Everybody wanted that truck. He took great care of it. He finally used it to get another truck, a big Black Widow. Uh, Black, it was, yeah. And then suddenly he called me and said, "You want to? I'm coming over to see you for Mother's Day. I want you to see my car." He pulled up in this car. It looks like a Maserati. I can't remember what it is, but it's a great car. Um, so I was like, "But you've driven a truck for 30 years since he was 16." And we gave him his first truck. Um, we did that with the kids. We did insurance had to pay, but we gave each of them cars and trucks, and ended up being 3 apiece before we said, "Okay, we're done. You can walk now." But so he's got this new car that's I'm sure a hefty payment, and insurance alone would bite him in the ass. I think. I hate insurance. They do nothing and they give no money back. I haven't even had a ticket. 40 years of driving. Do I have any of my money back? No, I don't. Doesn't take. So yeah, I'm like, oh, I bet you are worried. So he was even more worried because his parents could help maybe a little. Her parent, she has a mother. We're friends. Whenever she comes down here, she stays with me, Marie, and she could help a little, but not as much as because we would have to take care of what we have to take care of, and you don't have a lot set back. It's enough to where you can make it like a month or two, but their bills are twice as big as ours, and so even what we have saved up would not help them much, maybe for a month, with the combined parents helping. So, but they said, oh no, they had scrambled. Of course, they had it. It was okay. But every time I saw them, and it's not often, I'm not, everybody loves Raymond, even though there's an exit away. They got things to do. When they get home from work, they don't want to see me sitting there. You get time to, small talk. They got to run. And I did it for years, so no, I don't bother them. I call them, I go over on high holidays. I think my son still gets mad at that. But he also knows don't fuck with mom, she will hurt you. My grandson said that to one of his friends. One of his friends came with him to see me when I was laid up. And I was in the master suite. And of course, you have to come through the house, down the halls and stuff to get to the master suite. He told me he was bringing me breakfast. I thought that was very lovely. And he had his friend set with him. And when they got there, he opened the door. His friend said just a little bit so he could go, "Grandma, it's me, don't shoot." "Grandma." And I did not hear them. I guess I had TV on too loud or something. I don't know, or just wasn't listening. So they come through the house, and he gets to the bedroom door, and the door was shut. And he's like, "Grandma, it's me. Grandma, it's me." And until I actually answered, he went over the door, and his friend said, "See, that was all silly. She wouldn't have shot you." And then I picked my gun out from under the pillows and said, "You think not?" Holy shit! He said, "I told you, Grandma's just like that. She don't care for folk much." And that's your grandson. I mean, he says that all the time to people. She's great. She's funny, but she don't like people. Oh, mean ass boy. Yeah. So that was one of my funnies. I thought that was incredibly funny, and that went around the whole Gen Z circle. His grandma will shoot you. Graveyard dad. Isn't that right? I can't disagree. So I was glad to see that we could kind of laugh and get back together again without talking. One of them was coming up. You couldn't talk about religion. You couldn't talk about politics at anything. You just didn't do that. And if it was a party at your parents' house, you better hide because kids are to be seen but not heard. And they didn't even want to see us. So to disappear. And that's not the way my grandkids were raised. They were raised to do the phone thing. I would reach over and snatch the phone. Just, Grandma? What's wrong? You're being rude, you bitch. What do you think is wrong? Oh, you ain't get the phone back. Don't ask for the phone. I give you the phone when you go. Because they're just sitting there scrolling through shit. It's not like somebody's calling them. It's not no emergency. They just sitting there swiping. I'm like, oh, no, fuck you. That son of a bitch down. They don't argue with grandma a lot. They lose. I can see behind me, it looks like they might have gotten the bill passed. If they do, that means they open the government till January 1st, and they have to have a new one to run the country the next year. So you'll get your paychecks for November and December. And for some of you, October, November, December. Yeah. You think, what? What do you mean they can't do this again in 6 weeks? And they are. You know, my son one time came home from work and worked at a company almost 10 years, and they let him go on Christmas Eve. He came to work as usual. His stuff was in a box. They said they had to downsize, gave him the box, good luck to you, out the door you go. So that he was shocked and stunned and hurt. It's happened to all of us. You give it whatever job I'm in, and I taught my kids the same way. You do your 110% best, no matter that. Probably at some point they're gonna say you're fired or you're terminated or you're let go or what the hell have you. But if you take it personally, it's hard to start back up again. You fall off the horse, you got to get back on, especially in the type of thing that's going on today and with what my kids do. And so I was angry because my kid was so freaked about it. And it happens to me, and I was the same way. I was like, oh my fucking God. I don't even get a letter of recommendation. What the fuck? And shit like that, because you've been there and you've done it all. And it's like you were never there. And it really, even if you think it's not going to bother you, it's going to bother you. It's going to bother you. So I was really happy that within, I think it was 48 hours, he had several offers. He didn't even have to go look. He actually got a major raise and everything with more power. I say that literally after the other company had let him go. So he's now on the other side of the base, if he is at the base. And he doesn't have to go by his old office anymore because they opened a new gate. So he used to live here, like I said, and he would go through on the first gate. And then we took the house over so that they could get a bigger house. You couldn't keep they wanted to keep this house and get the other one and use this as a rental property because there's the golf tournament and all that. And I hate that thing. Oh, you can't get around it all. But they couldn't do that. Not enough credit, even though they both were making a good living. They just couldn't do that. So we took this one over, and it's about paid off, I think now. That's all on my husband. He does those. So at the same time, I'm thinking, the kids we're going to have to bail the kids out in a couple of weeks here at Thanksgiving. And what are we going to do to help them for Christmas? And thank God, at least they're going to keep the government open until January 1st. And the new year, it's going to be, well, I still would like to know why nobody asked the question of why does Chuck Schumer get to decide how the vote's going to go? And yet he did. He said, no, they didn't vote yes. People was like, how long has he been there? He's been there over 40 years. How many times he bought that seat? You got to wonder. How much is he worth? How much did he file in taxes last year? You miss a couple of payments for your taxes, even after your home is paid for, you don't have a home. So I never understood why any of us say, well, we bought a house. No, we didn't. We rented some plans of land with some stuff on it, and we paid the taxes for it, and they let us stay there. If we don't pay the taxes, we don't get to stay there. Truthfully, I got to where I called the IRS jackbooted Nazis, but that was just me. I'll probably get in trouble for saying that on the air. I don't know what's in this stuff, but it really improves my mood when I do this. Please come see me. Put it in the comments. Hit live chat. I usually come up, if you hit the notification bell, you'll know when I'm on. I usually just try to get here between 10 and 2. So I can't give you a better window than that because that's just the way my life goes lately. I used to do 10 to 12, and I was always on time. Now I'm not, and it annoys me being who I am. I want to be on time, and I want my house immaculate. And apparently, when you retire, neither of those things are going to happen again. So come and see me. Let's laugh. Let's giggle. Let's learn something. Let's talk about a ghost ride. I mean, I've got some ghost stories that are awesome. I have a young lady. I can't think of her name now, but she tells the stories really well. So I'm not one of those. I just get up and I talk to you, but whatever fuck crossed my mind, I don't care. Um, I used to have a few more of an audience, and I would be on here answering and talking at the same time. So please come back. Find out. Tell your friends she's over here. Bitch is crazy. She's drunk by the end of the show. That's one hell of a be like AJ and Hecklefish. Hey guys, love them. I need a Hecklefish. I really. He could be saying, "Oh fuck you," and I was like, "Oh." Yeah. I tried to keep the army under control there without bothering that with you guys. It slips out. The world is so fucking nuts lately. So pop up here, talk to me. Tell me what you want to talk about. I don't care. Just talk to me. Let's use this while it's free, while we can't talk to each other. It is so. Here's George Jetson. I mean, to my age group, this is so wicked. Come up here and talk to me. Yell at me. I don't care. Unless it's in my face. And then you may have to have a bullhorn removed surgically. But other than that, I'm good. I know they frown on that too. So I usually don't show up at those events. But it's come to my time. I have to say goodbye for the day. So please, again, hit the chat, hit the comments, ring the bell, subscribe. It's free. You can take it down just as fast as you take it. Talk to me about anything you want to talk about, anything. I can't say I know everything, of course. I love learning. I love laughing. And I think this is a great medium to do all of that. And it's free. If I'd had this when I was 20, there'd have been no stopping me. None. But in the meantime, like I said, I got to say goodbye. So once again, forgive me. I was in a bit of a rush and I don't have anything planned or prepared most of the time. I just kind of get up here and tell you what the heck's going on. So have a great one, and thank God tomorrow is Friday. See you then.